G'day Connection, Luke here, your dietitian from Active Health Clinic, and today I'm sitting here with a very special guest, my mum and our little puppy Jasper. He's not so much a puppy anymore, he's about 7, isn't he?
Oh, he's nearly 9.
He's nearly 9, there you go. It shows how much I've been out of home. Today we're filming a bit of a different video. It's Coeliac Awareness Week this week, or it's been this week just gone. And I wanted to share with you all one of the reasons why I decided to become a dietitian, and that's because just before I finished high school, my mum was diagnosed with Coeliac disease. So I thought I'd sit down with you, Mum, and ask you a couple of questions about your experience and hopefully get a tip. And just we're doing all of this in order to raise awareness for this condition. Hopefully that lawnmower doesn't get too loud behind us, but we'll see how we go. So, Mum,
Yep.
when did you realise that you might have celiac disease?
Never realised it at all. It wasn't even on my radar. The diagnosis came out of left field.
Yeah.
I was actually shocked when the doctor told me that I had celiac disease.
Okay, so why were you investigated for celiac disease in the first place?
Okay, I had very low iron and zinc, no energy. I was tired all the time, dragging myself out of bed, just feeling absolutely dreadful, lack
Yeah.
of memory, lack of concentration.
Yeah.
And the doctor thought that the low iron was caused by heavy periods.
Yep.
And I had a hysterectomy in 2015, and my iron levels and zinc levels didn't improve, so they went investigating, thinking that I could have internal bleeds or something going on
Yeah.
internally. So, and one of those investigations was a gastroscopy, which showed that I had celiac disease, which really shocked me. I just wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah, okay, so you had the blood tests beforehand.
I did
and
have blood tests
Yeah.
back in 2012, I think, but it came back negative
Yep.
for celiac.
So there was the antibody testing, you came back negative for celiac, so you never had the gene testing until after the fact, did you?
Well, I
And
didn't
then-
realise that you could take a gene
Yeah,
test, so
yeah.
I didn't know that.
So really important to note there that often doctors will get you to do a gene test, because 94% of people that end up having celiac disease have one of these two genes or both of them. But I guess we're talking 10 years ago now, so that
Yeah. wasn't
so practiced, and the doctor didn't see necessary to do that. But your antibody test actually came back negative. It wasn't
Correct.
until we had the
gastroscopy.
gastroscopy, yeah.
And then they did the gene test, because I was still a little bit in denial and disbelief because I'm going, oh, that can't be
I remember
right.
I went with you.
And
Yeah.
we asked for the gene test to be done, and it came back positive for one of the genes.
Yeah.
So that was just the conclusion,
Yeah.
and you had to accept it then.
So yeah, well that's exactly right. So your journey to becoming diagnosed was not the usual one, but I'd just like to mention the first thing that you said was you had these nutrient deficiencies, and that's one of the
Correct.
key symptoms that Coeliac Australia is actually promoting this week. That if you have nutrient deficiencies, especially if you're iron deficient, that's actually an underknown reason, or that's an unknown thing that can happen if you've got celiac disease and it's undiagnosed. So that's really valuable, you being able to share that.
And I'd like to also share that I didn't know that absorption could be a symptom. It was just, when you think of celiac, you think of diarrhea, vomiting, bloating, feeling unwell if you have gluten, and I really didn't have any of that.
No.
But now that I look back on it, my migraines that I used to suffer and things like that were all associated, and once I stopped having gluten,
Yeah.
those things ceased to be a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know many of our patients will be listening going, oh, I wish that was the case. I just got diagnosed with celiac, and it all went away once I stopped gluten. So I would like to take the opportunity to recognise that, there's plenty of other things that can cause that, but for the purposes of today, and certainly that was your story, and that's what happened. And we managed to figure out what was causing it, which was a huge blessing to us
Definitely.
and our family. Mum, when you stopped eating gluten, and I guess you've kind of just answered this question, but when you stopped eating gluten, like, what were the benefits that you received?
Well, the migraine stopped, which was great.
Yeah.
I started to feel stronger, more energy,
Yeah.
less lethargic, just much more vibrant in general, I think. My concentration, my memory,
Yeah.
things like that, they all improved
Yeah.
a
And
great deal.
your iron also shot up.
Oh, my iron, well, I wouldn't say shot up. It took a little while for
Yeah.
it to come up, but yeah, no, everything's perfect now.
Yeah.
I get yearly blood tests and things like that for just general health, and everything's sitting where it should be.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, really good. And I guess if there was one tip or piece of advice that you'd have for people who are not yet diagnosed, but thinking, you know, perhaps after this week, after seeing some stuff, or after today's video, yeah, okay, this might be me. What would you say?
I'd say go get tested. I'd talk to your doctor, tell them about your symptoms, tell them how you're feeling, ask for the test to get it done, not necessarily the blood test because it doesn't always ring true, but to have the gastroscopy, it's well worth finding out because your health's invaluable.
Yeah.
So it's one test that you take and then you can work on it from there. Also, if you are diagnosed, talk to people that have got the condition or the disease, and they can give you some really valuable tips about how to eat, how to feel better, what to do, what not to do. Be careful about it. I used to love Juby lollies, and I didn't realise that actually had gluten in them. So there's things that you need to change, but there's really a lot of things that you can compensate with now.
Absolutely.
That, like 20 years ago, didn't exist.
And that's some of the conversations we've had over the last 5 years to figure out how to compensate for those things too. And
the Coeliac's website's excellent as well. So if you can get on there and get some tips from there, that's really helpful. And also, if you've got friends that have got celiacs, use their knowledge because they've been there, done that. I've got 3 friends that are celiacs, and they were just so helpful, and I wouldn't have survived a lot of changing my diet and things like that if I didn't have their tips. So it's
amazing. Yeah, you can't beat that personal experience, can you? I can sit here and talk to you about it all I want and go, yep, that food's got it in it, that food's got it in it. But when you've got people trying to do this life every day and create new recipes and new things that are going to be helpful to give you, you know, those things that you might miss. That'd be great, because unfortunately we don't have a cure for this yet. We're sitting in a space where the only really reasonable thing that we can do is have a strict gluten-free diet. There are promising things that are happening though in this space, and hopefully in 5 years time I'll be able to come out and we can have this chat again and you'll be on a medication that allows you to have gluten, because there are promising things happening in that space, but who knows, we'll have to wait and see. It would be.
In the meantime, we've got some pretty good substitutions, but also, can I just do one more tip?
Of course you can.
Activated charcoal tablets. Awesome. When you feel unwell or you're bloating, or you might have had a little bit of gluten in something that shouldn't have been in, I find activated charcoal tablets great.
Yeah, awesome tip from your personal experience. I'll have to put the caveat on and say go speak to your pharmacist or your doctor about that, but you can give that because it's your personal experience. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey Mum, thanks so much for having a chat with me.
That's fine.
I really appreciate you being so open with your medical history and your personal experience, and allowing all of our patients and our members of our connection to get a little bit of a look in at what your experiences has been. So thank you very much.
You're welcome, and I hope that's helped people to know that it's not that bad.
Yeah.
You can live through it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I will put the link to the Coeliac Australia website in the bio of this video, but if you do have any questions, concerns, if you're considering that you might have celiac disease, or you want to know how to go about that proper testing regime, as we spoke to you about, it's not always the most straightforward pathway. That's something we're trained to help you with as dietitians at Active Health Clinic. So always happy to speak to you about that. Unfortunately, we can't do the testing ourselves, but we can give you the proper protocol and pathway and write letters and just make sure that you've got all the things that you need in line so that we know definitively whether you have celiac disease or not, because it can change lots of things, as you've said.
It does.
It can change the way that your health is managed and change your quality of life for sure. So we want to make sure we get that checked out. But thanks so much for joining us for this video today. Please feel free to drop a line if you need to. But otherwise, take care and happy eating.